Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to talk about obtaining your different artifact appearances. What appearances can you obtain in Legion Remix, and also how you can get them, as well as the hidden appearances and tints for your classes. Before we talk about all the collectible appearances, what I do want to say is that there is a great add-on that you can install that will help you with tracking them. If you go to my add-ons, you will see that I have one called RAT. This is Legion Remix Artifact Tracker. So you can see there, otherwise shortly known as RAT. If you type in /RAT after installing it, it will show you the eligible appearances and give you an idea on how to get them. This is great as there's no artifact forge in your actual game. So let's start with which appearances you cannot earn per class in Legion Remix. Now this is fairly straightforward. The appearances you cannot obtain are the Mage Tower appearances. This is because the Mage Tower is available in retail, and so you cannot obtain it as you can currently obtain these appearances in retail. Storm's Breath for warriors, or aka the PvP line for all classes, is unavailable as you cannot achieve honor levels in Legion Remix. The This Side Up achievement, which requires you to perform certain artifact or archaeological quests and achievements, is not available. And then the final tint for your hidden appearance is not available due to the fact that it requires you to defeat enemy players after unlocking the hidden appearance. So that is the appearances you cannot obtain. So which appearances can you obtain? Well, you can obtain your appearances for the initial Legion questline, so there's the 5-zone questline, the 4 major zones that you can do. You can then also obtain the appearances for your class hall questline. You can then also obtain the appearances for the Suramar questline, and for every class you can obtain your hidden appearance and hidden appearance tints. Now, RAT will not show you how to get the hidden appearances, but I will show you or discuss for you how to get them. So we'll do that now, class by class. If you're interested in only certain classes, there should be timestamps in the description below. For most of these, they're fairly simple. For example, completing your normal campaign is fairly straightforward. Completing your class hall campaign is fairly straightforward. And completing Suramar is fairly straightforward. And then completing certain achievements related to that, like the Mythic Mode or the Glory of Legion Hero achievement, are fairly simple. The nice thing is that RAT will help you with tracking these. Only the hidden appearance it does not show, but it will eventually. So we are going to take a look at how you can get all the appearances for all of the classes. We'll start with Death Knight. I've left a link to this page in the description below. It is for Wowhead, and it will give you a much better idea on how to get the appearances. If you see anything that says requires a class order hall upgrade, those should either be automatically upgraded or will be unlocked and upgraded once you make progress in the campaign and level up your character. So if you see something like a portal or a ritual or this, then it'll pop up later if it's not showing up for you now. Okay, so let us begin and take a look at all the classes. We're going to go through this quite quickly because obviously you will spend more time focusing on it as you go through, but I will give you a brief summarization. So for Death Knights, for Blood Decays, this will drop from the Twisting Anima event, which is the Twisting Anima of Souls, which drops from your Withered training scenario. So if you go to Suramar and make progress in the quest line, eventually you have to build your own Withered army, and in that process you will get chests at the end which can unlock the item. Frost will unlock the Soul Blade. This will unlock if you managed to get the drop from the Soul Taker's World Boss, which spawns in the island here, just on the side of Stormheim. So if you look here, they spawn here. Very, very cool. And then finally we get the Bone Reaper's Hook. This requires you to get a special drop from when the Army of the Dead is spawned. When you do so, you will have a chance to get a Lost Journal, which will direct you to Stitchwork, who's in the Icecrown Citadel, and will let you get Bone Reaper's Hook. You have to have the journal before you can continue the rest. There's a nice comment that gives more information. For Demon Hunter, here we have two. We have Guise of the Deathwalker. This is a drop from Downfall, which is a rare. To unlock the rare, you need to find Candrel's Charm. This can drop while doing world quests in Suramar. You can then take this to Candrel Twin Shadow, who's on a hill west of Fell Soul Hold. Once you do that, she'll kick you in the air, you fight Downfall, and then you can get the drop. Basically, if you are looking for her location, she is going to be just within this little kind of infernal area in Suramar. So you can see her here. Right, perfect. Next we have Vengeance. This is unlocked via Bulwark of the Iron Warden. This here, you can select the Order Hall trait Twisting Nether. You don't have to do this. And then killing the demons from there will give you a chance at Bulwark of the Iron Warden, which is great. For Druid, we have a couple interesting methods. So for Balanced Druid, okay, this is unlocked via the Sunbloom, which needs you to combine Seed of the Solar Fire and Pure Drop of Shaladrassil's Sap. The Seed of Solar Fire is sold by Sylvia Hartshorn in Velshara. It requires Exalted Rep. Pure Drop of Shaladrassil's Sap requires Dreamweaver's Exalted Rep as well, but will drop from the first boss of Dark Heart Thicket, Archdruid Gladalis. Feral will unlock it via Feather of the Moon Spirit. When you are in the Dreamway, you can go through different portals. Going through those portals, you can click on an Alcat stone, which can be found under a tree. When all three stones are clicked, a NPC named Elalothen will spawn, and you can sit in front of him. These are located in your class Order Hall for the Druid. That's what they mean by the Dreamway. For Guardian, this is obtained via the Mark of the Guardian, which drops from Ursoc and Emerald Nightmare. And for Restoration, you will choose the Evergreen Order Hall talent. You don't have to do this. You will simply have to make progress in your campaign. And when you plant the Evergreen soil, eventually it will grow to the acorn of the Fireflies, which of the Endless. I don't know why I said Fireflies. For Hunter, so Hunter, basically you get Designs of the Grand Architect. It's sold by Hobart Grappelheim and Dalaran. This is very simple. You just need to find the NPC and buy it for 8,000 gold. It's actually one of the easiest ones to get. Marksmanship is unlocked via Cyriel's Crestful Notes. These are sold by Veridis Fallon in Azuna. You can find them at the court location. So again, you can find them pretty much centrally here by the court of Ferondis, where you spawn in from the portal. And they will sell it to you, but only after you've hit Revered. Any reputations are very easy because you can get them via just spamming world quests. In terms of survival, you unlock it via Last Breath of the Forest, which requires a drop from Ursoc in the Emerald Nightmare. For Mage, for Arcane Mage, it is a hell of a process. I'll read you through it, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's just going to require you to go do it. Reading and listening to me is not going to help you. You just have to open up this link, put it on one screen or Alt Tab and just go do it, because it is such a painful process for Arcane, and then all the other Mage ones are super easy, so I don't know why they did that. But basically, it's the Wolomancer's Charge. It is both the best and worst artifact appearance of all time, but it's pretty cool. And so basically to get it requires you to polymorph firstly a couple units, so Cliffwing Hippogriff, High Speed Goat, Plains Ruinhof, Heartwood Doe, Wild Dream Runner. Once you've done that, then there's a chance for a volatile sheep to spawn in the Hall of the Guardian, which is your class hall. If you manage to get the sheep spawn, you can explode it, and then you will be able to right click the one in Stormheim, which you must also check, And then if you've done both of those, you can head to Azora in the Elwyn Forest and complete a short event. Then that will unlock the head for you, which is nuts. For fire, all you have to do is farm mobs in Suramar. Ridiculous. And then for frost, you unlock the teleportation nexus. You don't have to do this, it will unlock as you make class campaign progress. The set of 5 portals that generate, there's a small chance that you'll be phased to Frostfire Ridge, where you can loot the ever-burning crystal. So for some reason they made Arcane go through 1,000 steps, but for everyone else it was fairly easy. Next we look at monks. So monks, also one of those ones. So Brewhouse, yes, make progress in your class auto haul. For Brewmaster, you tap the bubbling keg once a day, you have a chance to drop the Legend of the Monkey King. For Mistweaver, Breath of the Undying Serpent will drop from Dragons of Nightmare in the Emerald Nightmare. So the dragon bosses, Sonda, Emerus, Lathon, and Terrae, have a chance of dropping this one. Windwalker is a little bit more complex, but only because it requires you to do a bit of the Suramar campaign. Same as before, it's the Withered training scenario, final chest, so it makes life a little bit easier as well. It's not hard, it's just a bit of grind in the Suramar to get there. Paladin is also one that is fairly simple, I think, across all 3. So Holy Paladin requires you to get Lost Edicts of the Watcher. This drops from demons in the Zuna or Argus. Protection requires you to do the Withered Armor training scenario. And Retribution requires you to do the Heart of, well, get the Heart of Corruption. Now this one is very, 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 very complex. There's a nice walkthrough in a comment here. Very nice walkthrough. So I'm just gonna show you this. Very, very nice walkthrough that you can run through to get this. So this is very complex, like very, very complex, but it is also at the same time probably one of the best artifact appearances in the game. So for me, it is without a doubt probably one of the best artifact appearances in the game. I mean, look at it, it's Corrupted Ashbringer. So it is well worth it. I will leave specifically a link to that comment as well in the description. So, because it's just way easier to click that link as a red pally. For Priest, for Disc Priest, it can look a bit complex, but really it just requires you to farm certain NPCs. It's quite extensive here, but basically you unlock the writings at the end. You have to speak to Archivist Inkforge. They will be located in your class hall, and then you collect 12 tomes from around the world. In Dalaran, there's a couple. In the Broken Isles, there's a couple. In Northrend, there's 1. And then in Azeroth, there are a couple as well. So, unfortunately for you, it's going to just be mainly a lot of traveling, but it's not impossible at all. It's just a lot of traveling, but it is a nice one. Then we have Holy. This is created by fusing together Crest of the Lightborn, which drops from Herja in the dungeon, and Rod of the Ascended, which requires you to be Valajar Exalted. And then Shadow, this drops from Il'gynoth in the Emerald Nightmare. So like some hidden appearances are super easy to get, and then some are absolutely diabolical. It's just very luck of the draw on what you focus on. For Rogue, so Assassination Rogue, you get Cipher of Broken Bones. It drops from rares in the Underbelly, which you can find located underneath Dalaran. You just go through to either the Warlock or the Rogue class hall. Outlaw drops via Emanation of the Winds. The 2 bindings for this appearance drop in Altharian's Lair and Vault of the Wardens. You don't have to worry about artifact knowledge. And then Subtlety is also, again, a little bit of an extensive process. So again, it just requires you to go and do certain steps. Within the Uncrowned Vault, which is located in your class hall, you can find the Satchel of Keys. These are visible on a pillar within the vault and will contain a key to the Palace of Leishen. Speaking to Toshi at the bottom level of the Order Hall, you can start the Troves of the Thunder King scenario. You will need 1 key to attempt it. It's the exact same scenario from Mists of Pandaria. Completing the scenario, then Burial Trove keys can be obtained, depending on what you do, and dropping from the rewards of the enemies. Using them, you can open the burial troves in the rest area after completing the scenario, and then that has a chance to contain otherworldly venoms, which will unlock the appearance. So it's just doing that scenario, but it's just a bit of a schlep to figure out how to farm enough keys because it's RNG. Then we have Shaman. So Shaman, in terms of Shaman, Elemental is pretty simple. It can just drop from underbelly rares. Enhancement, it drops from Broken Isle world bosses, Flotsam and Levantis, easy peasy. And then Restoration, this is unlocked via the Coil of the Drowned Queen, which drops from mobs and bosses in Eye of Ashara, the dungeon. So Shaman, honestly, whoever decided to just give Shaman very easily accessible ult appearances was a legend, because these are like, I think, the easiest ones to get. And then for Warlock, we have the Affliction, so Essence of the Executioner. This drops from Eridar Supplicants in Azuna. So these are located in like the central zone of Azuna. So if you look in Azuna, they're like all on that, little kind of Warlock demon island, basically. Once you get the Grimoire of the First Necrolite, you can then begin the quest, which requires you to kill rares around the world. It can be any rares. Once you've obtained 13 skulls, you can use them to summon Satael, and you will get the Essence of the Executioner when done. For Demonology, this is unlocked by the Visage of the Awakener. This requires you to kill different Eridar rares on Argus. The full details are in the comment, so you can click there. It helps you just find and locate them a bit better. And then Destruction, you need the Burning Jewel of Sargeras. You will need to do the Demonic Ritual, and you have a chance from that boss that's summoned from there to get the Burning Jewel of Sargeras. This occurs in your class Order Hall. Again, it unlocks as you make progress through the campaign, if not already unlocked. And then we have Warrior. So Warrior, you get the Arcanite Bladebreaker. This is unlocked via the reward Secret of the Axes, which has a daily chance to spawn in the Warrior Order Hall. So it's just checking your Order Hall every day. Fury, you acquire the Dragon Slayers by fusing together the Haft of the God King from God King Scovold, Skill of Skarthos from Skarthos, and Skill of Nidhogg from Nidhogg. You have to be exalted for the drops. These are all from the dungeon, I believe. So every single one of these is from the dungeon. I think it's from the raid, actually. Trials of Valor raid. And then Protection is Last Breath of the Worldbreaker. This basically is a random event, and you can find it in treasure piles in the upper levels of Neltharion's vault, not lair in High Mountain. So yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So that's that. That should cover pretty much everything you need to know about the hidden appearances. Hopefully that has given you a good guide. Like I said, I will leave all the various descriptions and things inside the video description and the links and all that, so you can just click on there and make some progress. That's it from me. Bye.